Hello again from my front porch. It's another beautiful day in the neighborhood. And I mean that literally. It's a beautiful sunny day here now. You can see because I got the sun right here. Got to be careful about where I position because if I come down here, it's like a good thing I'm not one of those Twilight vampires. Well, for many reasons, because they're stupid, but also because then be all sparkly and glittery and I die. But still. So today's election day. I'm gonna go do my duty. Now I know I come off as quite the cynic and the skeptic about politics, mostly because I am. But I still take seriously the right to vote. It is still very, very important. And so even though I am not pleased at all with some of the choices that are on the ballot, I'm still going to vote. Now, I've said this many times and I haven't changed my view. I no longer, years ago, I used to be quite the partisan. I used to be quite I was one of those people that was all caught up in what my party said and the other party was bad and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. Now, I'd like to think that I've matured beyond that now and that I actually use my brain rather than just respond, to the hot buttons that are being pushed by whatever campaign. And I refuse to vote against someone. I will not throw away my vote because I don't like that person, so I'm going to vote for this person instead. Because I'm okay not voting for the person I don't like. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to vote for you over here just because you're not that person. I need to know that you are worthy of being there too. And saying that you're worthy because you're better than that person, that doesn't carry any water with me. I already agree that person's bad. So by that definition, almost anybody is better. But just because almost anybody would be better than them doesn't mean you are the right choice either. And that's kind of where I feel on the presidential ticket. But I'm not gonna get into. I have decided who I'm voting for. It might surprise some, probably won't surprise most, that I know who I'm going to go in and vote for, and it's not going to be straight ticket, not even remotely close. However, I cannot stomach voting for either of the primary presidential candidates, the main party candidates. I just can't. Neither of them deserves my support. Neither of them has earned my support. Politically, I think honestly, I'm not even going to go. I'm not even going to go there because I don't want to make these. I don't want to make these political. But I have to. I've done my best to ignore the commercials, to ignore the barrage of text messages, to ignore the barrage of emails, to ignore my mailbox being filled with spam in the form of political mailings. And I don't know if that stuff actually works with some people, but I tell you what, it doesn't work for me. And in fact. If anybody really even cares, the more I get from you or from your organization attacking another candidate, the less likely I am to vote for you. Because if your whole message is they are bad and you're not telling me why to vote for you, I'm not voting for you. All that money you spent on the emails, the text messages, the crap going into my mailbox, all of that, the commercials on TV, all of those attack ads, unless you told me why I should vote for you, I'm not voting for you. So I'm going to go over, I'm going to see how bad the line is and all of that. Who knows? But I don't care. If I have to wait a while to stand in line to go vote, I'm okay with that. I'm not a whiner and complainer about that. I don't believe that voting should be a breeze, should be a poopy. You should be able to just, whoop, here's your vote. I mean, it shouldn't be difficult. Don't get me wrong. We shouldn't make it harder than it needs to be. But by the same token, anybody who expects I ought to be able to just do this and not inconvenience my day whatsoever. Okay, grow up. This is serious business. This is worth your time. And if you can't take the time, if you can't be bothered to actually spend some time in line standing to go cast your vote, then you're not taking it serious anyway. you're probably voting based on memes. You're probably voting based on the fact that you saw a commercial on TV and you thought, oh, well, that one makes sense. Or you heard someone give a soundbite, you went, I like what they say, without actually bothering to think, can they even actually do what they just said they were going to do? If you're somebody who is focused on the convenience of voting, you're probably not somebody who's actually really thinking about who you should be voting for. Because if you did, the convenience factor wouldn't be an issue for you. Now again, I don't believe in barriers to voting, not at all. And I don't believe making it hard for people to vote, not at all. That's not it. That's not what I'm saying at all. However, I think we've become way, it's like being in a relationship with somebody and you start taking them for granted and you stop trying to actually be romantic and you stop trying to win their love because you feel like I've now got them, so I can be lazy on that stuff. I don't have to do that stuff anymore. I kind of feel like we Americans have become that way towards our freedom and towards voting, especially, that we just take this stuff for granted. Meanwhile, there are literally hundreds of millions of people around the world who wish they could go stand in line at a polling place, but they can't. And even if they did, the whole thing would be rigged. There'd be like one person on the ballot and it's the government-approved dictator who's being rubber stamped back in. That's not what we deal with here. We don't have that here. We are able to actually vote. Now, there's still debate as to whether vote counts. I still believe they count. I question sometimes how much the people, once they get elected, actually will follow through on their promises when elected. But the vote still counts. And the important thing is, I get to go do it. And so, I'm going to go do it. Well, it's about 10 o'clock in the morning here at the polling station, and it looks like I might have some company. Well, that was easy as pie. I mean, really. Here, look, see, I have voted now. I went and got my vote. But seriously, I went in and there was no line. With all those cars here in the parking lot, I wasn't sure. But the reason there was no, I guess I can take this off. I'm not around people now. But I went in and there was no line. They had, I don't know, 30, 35 polling stations set up. You go in, you check in, and they confirm who you are, and then you get your ballot, and you go over and you sit down at, sit or stand wherever you could to fill in your ballot things. Now, there were a couple of details about that I thought were intriguing. One was outside. On my way in, I saw that they had curbside voting available. So if you were handicapped, if you were unable to go in because of physical limitations, or maybe you just were uncomfortable going in because maybe COVID concerns, things like that, you still can go vote because they have this option for you to call and let them know, and they'll come out and assist you outside, which is really cool. That's really great. The other thing I thought was interesting was, not only did you have to have your ID, my driver's license, to vote, but this time it wasn't just a look at the front. They had you flip it over and they scanned the barcode thingy on the back. Now some will say, I shouldn't do that. I tell you what, I don't mind, because when I go ship a package of FedEx, they do the exact same thing. So I don't mind at all. I'm doing that for my voting. If I have to do it to ship a package, it's okay. But I thought that was really interesting too, because then they scanned that and then immediately it confirmed all the information about you. Not just, yes, this is your address, but it confirmed your voter registration and all that kind of stuff. Came right up on his screen, and he was able to give me the documents that I needed right away and sent me off to go vote. And then I sat down. I swear it took me longer. Now, granted, I did take time to look at both sides of the ballot and fill in things accordingly, including whether there should be a constitutional convention or not. But still, with all of that in place, it took me longer to actually vote than it did for me to get in and out. So kudos to the people running the thing in there. They have it down to a science. It was very smooth. They were very friendly, very personable. They did say that they had 200 some people lined up at 7 a.m. this morning. That's a lot of people for them to be looking at. I was voter number 711. Well, we don't have any 7-Eleven stores here in town. Otherwise, I'd be like, I'm gonna go buy me a lottery ticket at 7-Eleven. But anyway, so got that part done my duty, and now off to the rest of the day. So the voting was completed. Everything went well. Again, kudos to those who were running the polling place. Went very smoothly. I was very impressed. I heard lots of horror stories about how bad things were going to be if you waited till election day. So make sure you vote early. wasn't bad at all. Everyone, again, was very courteous. Things went very smoothly. And, voter number 711 at my precinct, and very, very proud to have done my duty. Now you get out there and do yours. And I'll see you next time from my front porch.